If you're watching this channel, you've probably been a manager at some point in your career. And if you understand what managers do, they manage resources. They make sure that we get the most out of a resource. That can be individuals, it can be bandwidth, it can be vehicles. We all manage a lot of things in our lives. We manage our money, we manage our relationships, but we're all terrible at managing the most important resource in our life. And that's time. Time is the most valuable resource on this planet and is the only resource that is not renewable. We have a finite amount of time alive and on this planet. When our time is up, that's it. There is no do-overs. You can't buy more time. And so it's really important that we take a step back and think about how much time are we spending on things that we love to do, and how much time are we spending on things that we hate? How much time are we spending around the people that make us miserable? How much time are we spending on things that aren't leading to anything? It's amazing when you take a step back and zoom out and look at your life in a microcosm. How much time do we spend making money that we don't even want to buy things that we could care less about to impress people we hate? Why do we do this? I asked myself this question when I had cancer last year. I was laying in a hospital bed, staring and contemplating my entire life up until that point. I was 47 and I was lying in a bed. I had just been told I had weeks left to live and that I was going to go through this awful treatment that might save my life. And I remember lying there thinking, well, geez, is that it? Is my life over? I don't get to do the other things that I've always said that I will do at some point? Yeah, that happens to all of us. We all look back and say, I should have spent my time more wisely. The problem that we all have is that we think that we have more time than we actually have. I was given a second chance. Now, whether I have a year or 3 years or 30 years, I don't know. I don't know how much time I have left. And that's not even important once you realize that when you spend the time doing what you love with the people that you love, it doesn't matter how much time you have. This idea that I had throughout my entire career that I will just hate this job because it pays me so well, that I'll just build up enough money so that someday I can use that money to do things I don't want to do, like play golf. I hate golf. I don't want to live in a golf community. I'm okay to go travel, but if I have to wait until I'm 70 to do what I want to do with my life, what the hell kind of life is that? Why would you live that way if you don't have to? We start working in earnest around the age of, say, 20, 25 years old, somewhere around there. Let's just say 25. You start your real career at age 25. But let's say that you work from age 25 to 65. That's 40 years. You're probably 10 or 20 years into your career already, and you're already reaching what is kind of the peak earning years, right? Late 30s to early 50s, those are your peak earning years, right? That's where you make the most money in your career. And then there is, on the other side, a downward slope where less people will hire you because of ageism. That's a real thing. As much as we try to legislate that out, ageism is real. Ageism is against young people and against old people. And in this middle band from age, say like 35 to 50, this is where you're going to earn the most. This is where you're going to grow the most in your career. If you're in that age, 35 to 50, and you're doing something you hate, hoping that it will lead to something better, you are making a huge mistake with your time. There is not much left, especially if you're on the latter half of your 40s and you're thinking, well, I'll just do this thing for a little while longer. I hate it, but it'll lead to something good in the long run. No, you're going to regret that, I promise you, because I did. Let's say you're in a role that you don't really like, you don't like the people you work with, you kind of don't align with the mission of the organization, and you have a terrible boss, but you're doing this because someone promised you that if you stayed around long enough, you'd eventually get a promotion. And then in that promotion, you'd have more agency. You'd have more ability to do things kind of your way, and you would make a little bit more money. And it's just kind of how things go in your organization. And you're waiting around for that right now. What do you think that promotion is going to do for you? Having more money doesn't make you happier. Money and happiness. Let's just talk about this for just a second. Okay, so happiness requires money. In the 21st century, if you don't have a certain amount of money, you cannot be happy. Well, maybe you can, but generally speaking, you have to make $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year. I don't know what the number is, depending on where you live, but you have to make a certain amount of money so that the basics are met, that your basic needs and some simple pleasures are available to you. If you're making $300,000 a year and you hate your job, you will be a happier person making $200,000 a year loving your job. You will be healthier. You will live longer. You will enjoy life that much more. And at some point, you have to realize that the trade of money for time only works to a certain point. It doesn't make sense to just save up a ton of money so that later in life you can do all the things that you're going to do, because later in life, you're going to be too tired to do them. So it doesn't make sense to just delay your enjoyment of life for so long just so you can do something that you don't like. In my role as an executive career coach, I have conversations with hundreds of people about their careers, and I hear a theme over and over again. I just have to make a certain amount before I can retire. I just have to get to this pay level so that I can set aside money for retirement. Retirement is hugely important, and I agree with that. What we're doing is we're telling ourselves, well, I need 3.5 million, or I need 6 million, or some like ungodly number to put aside, and I'm just gonna crank. I'm gonna work super hard doing something, whether I like it or not, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it for 30 years or 40 years, and then I'll have that money, and then I'll be able to live however I want, right? I think even Dave Ramsey says, live like nobody else so that you can live like nobody else, or some bullshit like that. You can retire and then get hit by a bus, and that $3.5 million is going to get fought over by people you don't even like. So what's the point in delaying your enjoyment of life for so long? There is something in the middle. You don't have to quit your job and go pursue your passion, scuba diving, right? Obviously, that's not a sustainable thing. Cranking out work that you hate in a job that makes you miserable for 30 years doesn't seem like the right way to do this either. There are guardrails in life, and you can ride down the middle of the lane. Rarely is the extreme the right answer. So like going into monk mode or whatever, like this idea of just like grind set and, you know, being abrasive and just working yourself into the ground for 20 years so that you never have to work again, that's not for me. And then over here, being someone who's just kind of like, well, I don't need to work. I just want to be happy. I want to pursue my passions. That's not it either. It's usually something in the middle. And so what is in the middle? It's aligning your career as close as possible to your life purpose. Do you even know what your life purpose is? Do you know what you are supposed to do in this world? I'm not a religious person, but I'm spiritual. Based on my experiences, what I went through when I had cancer, I understand that there's more to this world than I understand. And that's all I need to know. And to me, there's a reason why I'm here. My purpose in life is to help lead leaders. I want to teach people the right way to become leaders. I left behind a 25-year career in the satellite and space industry to focus solely on coaching and education and teaching people leadership and how to become effective leaders, to lead through authenticity, empathy, and audacity. That's what I realized is my true mission in life, and I'm leaning into it. And every day I wake up, I'm excited about what I do. When I have meetings with clients or potential clients, I come away from those calls energized and excited because I helped them. And that by helping them, it helps me. And I love this. I never loved what I did. For 20 years, I didn't enjoy what I did for my full-time career. And I was putting away money. And every now and then I took a shot. I did start some startups that I really believed in, and they didn't quite work out the way I wanted to. But at least I took the shots. But even without those, just the rest of my career was just making someone else's dream come true, or building something that I didn't really believe in anymore. If you're doing that, you are wasting the one resource that we cannot get back, which is time. Someone told me the other day, well, once I have the vice president title, then I can be happy. Where are you going, man? Once you're a VP, you'll be a VP. Yes, you'll be an executive now in the same industry, in the same kind of organization, and you'll have the same mindsets. And you can't grow past what your lid is, right? You set a lid for yourself in terms of your own happiness, and you don't realize this. If you're miserable now, becoming an executive is not going to make you any less miserable. The problems are only more amplified. And so you have to do the self-work. You have to understand who you actually are, who you should be, who you want to become, and then you can go off and move your career in the right direction. Ask yourself this one question. When you want to become an executive, when you're trying to get promoted, when you're trying to move up the corporate ladder, are you racing towards a goal, or are you running away from a version of yourself or a situation that you're in? And if you don't know the answer to that question, the chances are you're not going to be happy when you get there, because wherever you go, there you are. So it's important that you do the self-work and understand that you don't have the time that you think you do to figure life out. Go do what matters to you. Go do what lights you up. Find a way to build a bridge from your current career towards a career that makes you happy, that lights you up, that gets you excited. Find a role that is a bridge from here to there, and then go do that. Because if you don't wake up excited and passionate about what you do, you'll last 3 years in your job before you find the next one. It's a cycle that I see over and over again, and I lived myself. First 6 months, it's a honeymoon. The next 18 months is okay. And then the last year is like, I got to get out of here. And then that last year can last a year or 5 years for some people. I've seen people, 15 years, 20 years in a company. They've just moved from role to role to role. They might as well have changed companies. It doesn't matter because they're changing roles because they're never happy in that organization to begin with. Why are you there? It's because you're afraid. And what are you afraid of? You're afraid of change. You're afraid, well, the other way may be worse. When you zoom out and think about the cosmos and the fact that here we are on this little rock hurtling through the vastness of the cosmos. In 100 years, everyone we know will be dead. When you zoom out and think about this, like, how much fear do you really need to have about making a change in your career? Is moving to the executive level actually what you want? Or are you envisioning being an executive, giving you the agency so that you can tell that boss that this is how I want to do it? You need to think about these things. All of these questions tied back to how much time do you actually have to think about your career and actually live the career that you want to have, that you want to live? We don't have as much time as we think that we do. Now is the time for you to think about, what do you want to do with this time in your life? If you're 35 to 50, if you're in that age range and you hate what you do, right now, I'm telling you, stop this video, turn off the TV, turn off the laptop, go for a walk, and really think about what it is that you actually want to do with your life, because cancer may show up for you like it did for me, and you may not have the very lucky outcome that I got. Go ask yourself what you want to do with the rest of your time. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.